So I started filming this on a GoPro camera. I have some artist friends who do some really good time lapses on their GoPros, and I wanted to try it, but I actually didn't like how distorted it ended up looking. So, I shot it on a linear setting, but it's just too wide of an angle for my liking. So you'll see later on in this filming, I switch over to my full frame camera, and the difference is pretty huge. So this first layer is mostly just mapping out the shapes and laying a base for the second layer. I try not to get too detailed here because when this layer dries, I'm just going to be going back in and painting over all of it. So, I'm still not quite sure how bright and dark everything is supposed to be. So once I get that first layer down, I'll start to understand how it wants to look. Right now, I'm just getting a sense of the tonal value. The palette for this one's mostly warm neutral tones, but there is a shock of color off to the right, which you won't see in this time lapse because I'm only showing a portion of this painting. For this scene, I had to do a mirror image of a face, a few sort of fragmented pieces of the face. But that turned out to be a little bit more challenging than I expected because I'm making up this face as I go along, and then I had to do slightly from a different angle. I tried to stay as true to that face as I could to really pay attention to what I was doing. So this part, I'm just kind of mapping that out as best I can. I'm just about to switch over to the second layer and the full frame camera. So now you see I've switched over to my full frame camera and with a 70mm lens. This is where I really start to commit to what the tonal values are, which areas I want to highlight, which ones I kind of wanted to be in shadow. I wanted her eyes to just be barely out of the light, just to give it a sense of being in a state of discord, like she's buried under some kind of tension. And I wanted the only light really to be on her mouth and the way it's fixed on a cigarette, like something she's kind of unconsciously carrying around. So once I got her expression to where I wanted it to be, I started to try little lighting tricks. Like I thought I'd put a side light or a backlight, kicker light on her hair there on the right side, but I decided it just didn't work, so then I painted over it. You try things on the fly, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. The image is always changing and morphing. So now I'm working on the blouse and trying to get some dimension in the material. It's all basically very neutral, warm tones, so I'm not straying very far from that palette. I always hope the second layer is going to be the final layer, but it never really is. There's always last-minute touch-ups. So now I'm going in on the second portion of the painting, which is the mirror image of the face, which is sort of, as you can see, fragmented. Like I said, it was hard to do this because even though it's just a slightly different angle, I didn't have a photograph of the face to work from. I just kind of had to guesstimate.